Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Reboot It. Tonight we're joined by
Benny Karnes.
Cool. So hopefully this is recording okay. Um, I can see my stuff. Let me pull up the little control room dealio. Okay, good. So I'm gonna turn up your level a little bit. So thanks for joining us. It's been 2 weeks since we've done a podcast because I've just been busy. If you don't like that, you should do your own podcast. So upcoming conferences, DerbyCon's next week. Are you ready, Benny?
Oh, I am ready.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you sure you're ready?
No.
Are you prepared?
Uh, Define prepared.
So you staying at the Hyatt or someplace else?
Yeah, staying at the Hyatt.
That's
Actually,
great.
Patty and I were trying to find a room, and Rick decided, or I don't know if Rick was just decided not to do it or whatever, but I took his room. Then he
Yeah.
said he had enough points and he got another room just for one night. And I'm like, oh,
Okay.
man.
Well, he probably has work stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just we had some tickets here, and then we got some other tickets, and I gave one to one of my students, and so he's scrambling now trying to find a room.
Well, good luck because like 2 weeks ago we were looking and we just dropped the ball. We didn't even get it, and I mean the closest was like 20 blocks away or something goofy
Yeah.
like that.
Um, yeah, it's always a struggle. In fact, I book my room before I buy tickets usually. It's easier to cancel a room and not get tickets, if you don't get
Yeah,
tickets. So I ended up with tickets galore again this year. So we spread the wealth.
cool,
So I just asked in class who wanted to go to DerbyCon, and so he's the guy.
nice.
Um, and there's a bunch of my students going, so I told him he should be able to crash on somebody's floor. It is a hacker conference, right? Just sleep downstairs on the couch.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
not like
hallway
it's never
con's
been.
for, right?
That's not. It's probably like it's never been done before. Of course, this isn't DEF CON, so it's a little bit different. And Hyatt has great security, and they're
Yeah.
really wonderful for us. They give the con goers a lot of leeway, so they don't step on your fun, but they keep you safe. And then, of course, the DerbyCon security team does an excellent job every year. So
It's gonna be fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. I need to write up that presentation I'm supposed to give. Besides DC, October 21st to 23rd in Washington, D.C. That's bsidestc.com. We should also know, if you've not listened to us before, DerbyCon is sold out. But there are people giving away tickets, Milton Security.
Yeah, I saw that today.
If you go over on Twitter and look for Milton Security, and you can nominate people, and they're giving away all of their sponsorship tickets, which there's several of them. So you can still get it. You might be able to score a pass to DerbyCon. But of course, don't forget to score your passes to Secure WV HackerCon.
Exactly.
CFP is open.
That's the most important one. No, I'm just kidding.
Ticket sales. Tickets are on sale.
Yep.
We're still looking for sponsors, and there's a CTF page that Benny did, which it gives you some homework.
Ideas. Yeah, give you
Homework.
some homework.
Yeah, so you can be ready for the CTF. And I think we're going to have a big year. I know a lot of students are going. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving break for them, so some of them are going to come to Secure WV on their way home for break. So I think it'll be great. But don't, if you want to buy your tickets, buy them now. We can't
Yes.
guarantee we won't sell out, because the thing is, we're in a nice new venue, but there are limitations to everything. And we don't want the fire marshal to come in and tell us that we have too many people.
Exactly. That's Fire Marshal Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yep.
So if you buy them sooner too, it helps out the conference, so we know that we have enough money to put the conference on, which is also important.
Exactly.
We're giving away a book. So if you submit a paper to Secure WV HackerCon, you're registered to win my personal copy of Masters of Deception, the Gang That Ruled Cyberspace. I'll even personalize it for you if you want me to. I will actually sign the author's names as if it were a signed copy.
I was going to say, how are we going to personalize it? We're going to put like, rainbow
That
unicorns or.
that could get really dark. I'm not sure. I started saying that, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go there. Hmm. So the stories of this week are actually stories. Some of them are for stories from 2 weeks ago because we're kind of behind. Other than doing news stories, let's talk about the stories from 2 weeks ago because there's still some interesting things in this. And the most striking to me as an academic is Dropbox hack is real. There are tons of professors and students that use Dropbox. So what do you think about this one, Benny?
I was a little miffed, and then I got a little confused because, okay, so from what I was reading, it was saying that basically if you haven't changed your password since 2012, you should go in and change it.
Yeah.
What if you didn't get your account until 2014 or
Yeah.
2015?
You're
It
probably okay because that breach goes back to 2012.
Oh yeah, yeah. But in that, it's like, I didn't see if they had gotten any info, and I'm trying to remember when I turned on two-factor authentication. I think it was 6 months after I got the Dropbox. But I don't, when the first they said something about it being hacked. I want to say 2012. Maybe it was, when they first started talking about it, and I had pulled everything but maybe some pictures. Like my camera, when I take pictures, my camera uploads it to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are goofy, stupid pictures, stuff from DEF CON, that's not stupid, goofy, but just stupid pictures that I take. So if they want that, that's fine. They're not important. I don't have location set on my phone, and so they're not going to find me. But there's not, I don't have any personal data up there anymore.
Well, I know for a fact a lot of law firms have tried to put the kibosh on lawyers using Dropbox because it's not HIPAA compliant.
Yeah.
No, there are other solutions out there that are HIPAA compliant, but and they're trying to move them in that way. But a lot of people will say they'll give up Dropbox over their cold dead body. They'll have to pry it from their cold dead hands, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
we were talking about this in P&D the last week or the week before, the week that it happened. And because it happened like on that Monday, and Tuesday we started, Tuesday night we started talking about it. And one of the things that I had talked about was, so one of the things I had looked at was Spider Oak back in the day, and this was probably around 2011, and I used it for a while. And basically, you keep your stuff in the cloud, but they don't have the keys to it, so it's encrypted on their servers, and your keys are all stored on your computer.
mm-hmm.
They call it zero knowledge, so they don't know, they can't decrypt your stuff even if they get a warrant, supposedly.
Right.
So I hadn't used it. It was kind of clunky on Linux anyway, back when I first started looking at it. So I kind of dropped it. And like I said, I used it for a little bit, but then just didn't like it. And so I decided to start using it again a couple of weeks ago. And it's actually pretty nice now. And they've got some pretty good information on it. That's how I keep a lot of my stuff. I have encrypted stuff, and then it's already encrypted through Spider Oak, so it's like double encryption. So
I think that's fine, but for something that's business use, a lot of faculty members use it for places to collaborate and ways of passing files around. So what if that contains information that has student personally identifiable information or grades? Then you're in a FERPA violation. It's always been rather disturbing to me that people rely on it as much as they do in academia. You can tell I'm losing my voice, which really sucks.
You're gonna stop
Anyway,
yelling at students.
and it's not that. We've had some virus. Blair and I both were sick this weekend and actually missed her cousin's wedding, which sucked. Um, and I just every day I felt crappy. So there's something going around. Hope you don't catch it because it sucks.
Well, my computer might. I'll need to run a virus scanner.
Yeah. So talking about Linux, you mentioned Linux, and something that I've been toying around with is that I really need a dedicated Linux computer. There are things that I own that just does not play with Macs very well, and it
Yeah.
doesn't even play with Macs in virtualization very well. So I was actually toying with the idea. Blair's getting a new iPhone 7, which will be here on Friday, and I'm thinking about going to Android.
Yeah.
Just not the ones that burst into flames.
Yeah. Oh, why not? It just makes them fun. You don't know if yours is going to be the one or not.
Well, I mean, the current version of the Android, that is it the Galaxy 6? No, that's not what it is.
7.
It's
Oh gosh.
you okay?
Sorry. Yeah, my dog just came up behind me and put his cold nose on my back.
Yeah.
So I was like, "What the heck was that?" We got a new dog about 3 weeks ago, and he's still kind of.
Also, since our last time we talked, you got a new dog, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's a terrier mix, and yeah, I was just sitting back, relaxing, and he came up and went, "Hey, what you doing?" Right,
What's going on?
Yeah, hey, what's going on?
So the Nexus 6 supports Kali Hunter as well as the OnePlus One.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're relatively cheap phones. I really thought about just switching to Nexus, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I owned an Android phone. The last time I had it for 24 hours and took it back and said, "Give me my iPhone back," because I hated it. So I'm not sure that.
I personally love my Samsung. I have had Samsung phones since the Galaxy 2. I don't like. I got an Edge this time.
You just completely dropped out and came back. So
Oh, okay. Well, I like Samsung phones. I've had them since the Galaxy 2, and I don't like the current one that I have. I have a 6 Edge,
mm-hmm.
and the Edge part of it is really annoying
What
because
is Edge?
it basically has the rounded edges.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem is if you've got big fat hands like I do, and you go to pick up your phone. I was on a conference call the other day and hit the record button, and I'm like, "What? Who was that?" And they're like, "That was you." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So it drives me nuts. But other than that, I love Samsung phones. Um, I just, it's one of those things I like. I like it a
Well,
lot.
they seem to survive very well. I have a student with a Samsung phone that got dropped in a toilet. So she dried it out for about 2 days and it came back perfectly fine.
Ben actually he has the 6, the normal 6, and he had it in his pocket while we were on vacation. Got into the pool and got right back out of the pool. Done. It was over. I don't think any
Really?
phone would. Yeah, I don't think any phone would have survived. It wasn't the waterproof one. It was just the regular 6. So
He has a Galaxy 6?
yeah,
Okay. I was going to say, I keep thinking maybe it was a Nexus. You could go ahead and put Kelly Hunter on it. Now, of course, it has to be unlocked, but you can find good deals for under $200. These devices on eBay. Now they're used, but it'd be something to play with. I don't really
yeah,
have the money to do it right now, but something to think about.
yeah. I would love to do it, but I'm in the same boat. I just don't have the money to put towards another phone. Now, I wish they would make NetHunter to where it worked on any Android device because I've got plenty of Android devices.
Yeah, they're just not the right ones or the correct
Yeah.
versions.
But yeah, I like Android to a point, but I really wish Ubuntu's One Touch phone.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was One Touch. I wish that would have actually. I wish they had got funding for it. I did see a couple of prototypes out there, but I don't know. I think something with the stock Android wouldn't be too bad. But like I said, I like my phone.
Um, Sorry, I was typing. I can't type and talk at the same time because, well, I'm special.
You're a special snowflake.
So the FTC alert on securing personal information when using rental vehicles. Did you see this?
I saw it and my mind went, duh. I mean, of course. Why? Who? When you get a rental vehicle or anything that has Bluetooth, that it could be not just a car, but it could be anything that you're just passing through. You're renting a house and they have Bluetooth devices in there. Why on earth would you tie your phone to one of those devices that you're only going to see for a few days, a week, a month? Has I don't keep Bluetooth on anyway, so
Well, what we found, we're actually doing phone forensics at work. Car forensics at work.
uh
And what we found is that even the cars that say that they're not pairing your phone are actually pulling data off your phone.
yeah. I went to a friend of mine's wedding, and his wife. I went to move her car, and it was a Ford. I want to say Edge,
Mm-hmm.
but it had one of those things where it would pair with your phone. And of course, Bluetooth was off, Wi-Fi was off. Basically, it shouldn't have found it. And it was like, "Hey, do you want to talk to Benny's whatever it was, Benny's phone?" And
Right.
I was like, "No, no, no, no." you know. So I turned the phone off until I got
Yeah.
out of the car.
Yeah. There's a good chance that it went ahead and pulled some of your contact data. Um,
They could
Also, we're
try.
finding that if you tell the car to forget your contact data by
Well,
deleting it, it doesn't actually delete it
of course not.
always.
What's the uh,
So,
what's the thing from OnStar? Oh yeah,
yeah.
you can delete. No, it still keeps your data. They still track you.
No, it's kind of troubling, but I guess that most people just don't think about things like this.
Well, there's a new article that came out. I don't know where I saw it, um, but it kind of goes with this. So with Android, they were talking about the Google Play services, which
Right.
is kind of the heart of the that stuff. You can turn location off of your maps and off of your other devices, but supposedly the Google Play Store services actually still tracks you. So they were talking about you have to turn it all the way off, and I'm like, well, no, on my Android, I actually went in. Well, again, I don't carry location on it anyway, but I actually can go in and tell it, no, I don't want, I only want these devices or these applications to have location on it. Some of the newer Androids do that. So you can go app by app on like your microphone, your camera, saving stuff to the card, and location service is one of those. So, but again, it's one of those things where I can't believe that people are so trusting. And some of the comments on this was like people were like, so I don't care, I've got nothing to hide. That's not the point. The point is it shouldn't be doing this. If you say no,
Well,
it should be, you know,
there's nothing. You take this all could be aggregated somehow. It can be used by law enforcement. I mean, one of the things that's going to happen is law enforcement's going to catch on to car forensics, and they're going to start using that in investigations. So,
yep,
just the same way they'll seize your phone, as the next step, they're going to seize your car in order to
yep.
do forensics examination of your car. Um, it's very possible, and it's very troubling from a privacy point of view. Not that law enforcement would use it, but what about anybody? It's that data should not be there. It should not be residing on those
Well,
cars.
and that's another thing. I didn't go to it because, yes, I'm interested in it, but car hacking is just one of those things that I'm like, I don't even have all the other hacking done yet. Car hacking is just a side thing. Let the people that are really much smarter than me go out there and do that. But at DEF CON, they and Black Hat, they actually had, a DEF CON, they had the car hacking village.
Right.
And you could go in and people were turning on the lights and doing all this other stuff. So if they're doing that, I mean, of course, it's going to be no time where you could do, forensics from, who knows how far away.
Feds warn. What are we doing here? Okay, there's two stories. Revamp looped crack 7 audits Windows and Unix passwords up to 500 times faster. Loop crack has been around for years. I'm sorry, loft crack. Loft crack is one of those projects of the loft, and the loft has been around since the very beginning of hacker culture. But if you're a loft crack fan, I would say check it out. It is not a free tool. You have to pay for it.
So we were looking at this last night. Isn't Loftcrack in Cali?
It might be.
Yeah, we didn't. We were looking at.
I don't crack passwords locally. I have another procedure.
Oh, okay. Well, you may need to come in and show us that, because we're just kind of farting around looking at that, at how easy it was. But
you can crack. I mean, technically, if you're not worried about leaking information, you can actually crack passwords using Google.
Someone was telling me about that. Someone mentioned that you could put in the hash, and Google will tell you what it is.
Yeah, because what's happened is someone else has cracked it.
Yeah.
So it's in a Google search result.
Yeah.
But you are, if it's something where you have an NDA and it's client data, do you really want to be doing that?
Well, yes. That it goes back to the whole Dropbox again. There are certain things that you shouldn't be doing. You have to kind of think to yourself, do I want to give out this data? If something,
well, there's probably pen testers who have been keeping reports in Dropbox. There are pen testers that I know of who keep reports in Google Docs. You lose control of that stuff. The whole idea that the old saying or the new saying that the cloud's just somebody else's computer.
Yep.
Once you put it in a cloud or put it in some other service, you lose control of it. So I think that we as penetration testers especially need to think long and hard where your data resides, and everything should be encrypted and reside locally, because one of the things that the standard operating procedure in my shop is when I'm done with your penetration test, unless you request it, I keep a copy of your penetration testing report. I destroy it plus the virtual machines plus everything else. It's gone.
Yep.
Because I don't want to line around. It's too much liability.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing.
This is a breaking news. Feds warned first responders of dangerous hacking tool called Google Search. Apparently, there's something called Google hacking. Have you heard of this?
No. Tell me about it. I think someone wrote a book about that, didn't they?
I think Johnny Long did.
Yeah, but someone updated it recently, right?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I just got my first royalties from that book from Google, and it sells very well. So now I have the money. Now I have money to go to DerbyCon.
Nice, good. Yeah. See, I was trying to lead into that for you.
Yeah. I just thought it was a funny story. It's actually a couple years old, but I found it, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw this in the show notes so we can make fun of. This is DHS, I guess. Let me look at it. Something called Google dorking. Google dorking warning from DHS and FBI calls out advanced search as a threat. Yeah, you should be Google dorking yourself. And there's the Google hacking. They're called Google dorks. That's the operators that you use.
Yeah.
And there's the Google hacking database, and there's which is now hosted over on that exploit database, and it looks like we've got some recent dorks. 9/13, which was just yesterday. So if you're interested in Google hacking, check out Google Hacking Database, or check out Google Hacking for penetration testers. So this one's kind of shocking and also has been in the news for a couple weeks. FBI says foreign hackers penetrated state election systems. And then Homeland Security eyes declaration to take charge of elections. We've heard just in the last 40 minutes that a Republican came forward and said the RNC has been hacked.
Really?
RNC denies that. This is based on Twitter traffic I saw just as we were starting to show. Apparently, Mike McCall, a Republican from Texas, told Breaking News Politics, or told somebody, Politico, it looks like, Russian hackers have penetrated the RNC computer system. Now, the thing is that within minutes, RNC was saying they were not aware of any breach. But what we do seem to find or see to be happening is somebody, it could be the Russians, I don't know, let me roll the attribution dice. It appears to be Russia is trying to influence our elections.
Yep. That is a scary, scary thing, man.
And then we got the latest Guccifer leak today.
Oh, yeah? I didn't see that.
Yeah. So they're saying they're basically our emails that say that people were paying to play. So if you wanted to become an ambassador, or if you wanted to become an undersecretary, that basically you had to pay money.
I did see the headline. I haven't read the story of it yet. That's just crazy.
So it's interesting.
But I mean, this has been the thing that gets me is this has been talked about for how long? At least since what, 08, when they started using the electric ones, voting booths. And it's like, how do they create these things without somebody at least going, here's what we need to do. Here's, we need to design this properly. But of course, no, it's, hey, they probably go, a year out and go, oh crap, we gotta spin these things up, and then they need, 100 or more. Well, let's just put it out there. Yeah, that's it. We'll fix it after it gets out there.
Well, here's the thing about this, and I'll go on my tirade. You may have heard this before. If we can secure banking, we can secure elections.
I agree.
Now, here's the problem. The feds think that they need to take control of election systems. They do such a good job at securing the federal system. Let's make sure they take charge of election systems too. I find that frightening. Generally, the federal government seems to be behind the rest of the industry, mainly because they're stuck in bureaucracy. They can't be nimble enough to actually do what they need to do, and it's just because the system doesn't work fast enough.
Well, what about having someone like the NSA or the DoD or somebody like that who actually specializes more in securing systems better than the overall?
Well, here's the two things there. NSA and DoD is in charge of military systems. DHS is in charge of civilian systems. That's what their mission statements are. So it would be DHS, and I don't really have a lot of faith in DHS to secure anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think you'll see. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to say. It will be interesting to see what happens. Probably nothing will happen because after this broke, no one said a peep about it. And we have a lot of different election systems out there. But I still think that if you can secure banking, you can secure voting. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any fraud. There will always be fraud. It won't be 100%. It won't be 100%. But I think that we have a very backward on technological voting system with really stupid rules. I went to vote and in the primary election here in West Virginia, was told I couldn't look at my cell phone while I was standing in line to vote.
Really?
There was no, you can take pictures, you can do anything, but the freaking polling people were playing Bejeweled on their phone. Apparently, they were special snowflakes. I don't know what was different, but apparently, they were worried about people taking selfies in voting booths and everything. I'm like, this is stupid. It's really bad security theater is what it is.
Yes. Well,
Well,
speaking of
not theater, but theater.
theater,
Theater.
um, did you see and I can't remember who this was. It was someone over in Europe, but they had they did a press picture. They were kind of in a war room, and it was a political person was doing something, and the person snapping the picture realized after they snapped the picture and published it that guess what was on the whiteboard
Things
in
that
the
should have
picture?
been in the whiteboard. Yeah.
Yeah, like their domain name, their username and password for the admin, and clearly
Why would
stated.
you put that stuff on a freaking whiteboard? I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
But I understand what you're saying.
but again, it's like here again, I could see where they would not want you to. A little bit, I could see where they wouldn't want you to take a picture, but
Well, I understand that too. But why aren't we voting using our smartphones? Why aren't we voting online? I can bank online. I can
yeah,
move around as much money as I want to within limits, within reason online. I can buy and sell stocks online. I can buy government bonds online. Well, I could register to vote online, except that our local uh, county clerk doesn't accept it. She then, if you fill it out online, she sends you a paper form to your house, and then you have to fill it out again, which is also asinine.
yeah.
Does nothing to secure anything. Why are we not voting online?
I don't know. It goes back to who has the money. Someone's making money off of this. You know what I mean?
Well, I think they don't want to spend the money to actually secure it. But when you have nation states poking their finger into your election process, which
Yeah.
appears to be what's happening, that's problematic.
Well, and the other thing, I mean, so put on the tinfoil hat. What happens if it? Let's say we elect either one, which
Who
I'm not.
knows at this point?
Well, supposedly they're both sick. Well, one's mental and one's physical, and no one's even looking in the at the third guy, which is sad. But anyway, so let's say we do elect one, and a month later, right before they go into office or get sworn in, they notice that hey, it was hacked. Do we have another election? What do we do? Does this become the hanging chads all over again? I, I don't know. And the problem is, even if the person that you want to win wins, how do you know they won lawfully now?
Well, how do you know anything with this election system? You've got 50 different states, right?
Yeah.
Have 50 different election systems. Each county in West Virginia has a slightly different or similar or differently similar election system. Some
Yeah.
people are still using paper. Some people use touchscreens. Some people use punch cards. What we have now is not particularly secure. And
No.
here's the one that gets me. And I'm not taking this down a political rat hole, but as the political scientist in me, as to discuss the possibilities. Secretary Clinton drops out of the race. What does the DNC do in order to replace her? You can't have another convention.
No, they're gonna put Biden in.
No, well, see, I don't think that's going to be. I don't think people will stand for it.
No.
What you have to do, in my opinion, in order to follow the rules of the party, is that you would have to make Hillary's running mate the presidential nominee, and he would have to pick a new running mate.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the problem. I don't think anyone is looking at. Um, and when I joked about the Biden thing, that's the latest tinfoil hat uh, conspiracy theory, I guess. But I don't know. The really conspiracy thing is martial law is declared. I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
Well, they're saying because if a
Is this
presidential candidate,
time they come to take our guns?
yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's that's the tinfoil all body suit, not just the hat. Um, but yeah, see, I couldn't even do it with a straight face. But I don't know. It worries me that um, all this means is to the rest of the world we are a complete laughing stock. You know, because aren't other countries doing online voting?
Well, no, there have been countries, smaller countries, doing online voting for years.
Yeah, I don't know. It I every time I start thinking about this stuff, it just infuriates me because the whole this last year has been a joke, and it's just idiotic. And now they're talking about this, and now you got to wonder, okay, is this just a political or a public affairs move to ensure that if one candidate doesn't get it, that the other candidate that they can start screaming foul early? I don't know. It's ridiculous, man.
Um, I don't know. So here's this last story. So basically, Mubix found a way that you could steal credentials from locked Macs and PCs by using a land turtle. Apparently, you can also do this same thing using Pi Zero.
Yes, someone supposedly got it to work. Now, I tried it and I followed his blog post, Mubix's blog post,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying a land turtle.
Mm-hmm.
It did not work,
Well, land
but that
turtle's kind of picky anyway because you have to hook it up to a freaking LAN to configure it,
well, yeah, but you
which
don't
I
have to
think's a
have it.
pain.
Well, but you don't have to have it connected to the LAN after it's set up.
Right.
Now, and that's only to update it for the the packages and the modules. So I did
Right.
all that, and then I pulled it out and enabled all that stuff and pulled it out and tried putting it into a VM.
Right. Probably not going to
It
work in
didn't
VM.
work. Now there were two things. It could have been. I was seeing if it would kick off using a if it was if no one's logged in yet,
Yeah.
which that didn't work, and it could have just been that. It could have been just user error, and I think I tried it with
Well,
one.
what it does is it subverts plug and play. If it's disabled for whatever reason on the computer that's your target, it won't work.
Well, that's true too. Um, and honestly, I can't remember if plug and play. I thought plug and play was enabled
Yeah.
on
But with
the
a
VM.
VM, that sounds tricky because I don't know if a VM will. I mean, I have that problem with the Hack 5 Pineapple. It does not want to play with my Mac at
Really?
all. And there are ways, like I've gone through all these workarounds and stuff, and I've got the newest version of the operating system. And no, I'm to the point. Once again, I think I just need a Linux laptop. You get a cheapo laptop for like $100. Throw Linux on it and use it for things like the land turtle. I feel left out, and some things won't work with virtualization. Like an Alpha card, for example, you can plug that in. That's plug and play with a VM. But I've had issues, and I haven't spent a lot of time with it. I haven't had a lot of time lately with the Wi-Fi Pineapple. I got a Nano. I bought that thing, the big kit that they have because it was on sale.
Uh-huh.
So I just need to work with it. But I'm just really frustrated with the whole thing. And another example recently is I run the Raspberry Pi user group. We actually meet tomorrow at RCBI, Robert C. Byrd Institute of Advanced Flexible Manufacture. We meet on the 15th of each month at 5:30. in beautiful downtown Huntington, West Virginia. And I
And
was
you
trying
guys are
to.
killing me because every every time that you guys have met, I want to go to one, and every time you've met, we've had something we've got to do.
Oh, I understand.
And I mean, I want to get there,
Yeah,
but
well, 15th of next month.
who
Um,
knows? Who knows what's going on next
Also,
month?
they have their maker thing coming up, which is, I believe, let me look that up. Shoot. I don't know. I'll find it. I'll throw it in the show notes. I'm too lazy right now. My back hurts. I broke my chair. Did I tell you that?
No,
I got the big fat man chair and ended up breaking it somehow. I had it for two
nice.
years. And now I'm sitting in this chair that Blair bought that's like $9.99, and it's more comfortable than my hundreds of dollars that I spent on my other chair. So I guess I need to buy a new chair. It's just a pain in the ass.
Literally,
Literally. But what I found out is that using a terminal cable to hook to the Pi
yeah.
doesn't work on a Mac. You have to
Wait a minute.
download special drivers, and then and like my version of OS 10 is too new, and I can't get it to work. It won't
See,
even
that's
work in a VM. Like if I start,
people. Yeah, people wanted to know why I went away from a Mac. I like Macs. Overall, they're thinner, lighter, better, faster, stronger. But the because I used to do all my web development on a MacBook Pro that I
right,
have, and this was
it's great.
it's 2005. Do
It's
what?
great. It's great for web development.
Well, as long as you don't want to do something crazy. Some of the development stuff I actually couldn't install on a Mac. Now this was 2006, so or I couldn't get the newest. The server that I was going, connecting to was um, it had better software, newer software than what my Mac did. So I had trouble with that. The whole Java thing threw me because that's just ridiculous. And at the time, I had two or three desktop Linux machines. I couldn't take an external hard drive unless it was set up for um, FAT32 at the time. I couldn't just take it out of my Mac and put it into a Linux machine. If I had formatted that on any of the Linux formats, um, well, I should say
Well, then I
ext
think that it's better.
two, three, or four.
It's more compatible now. I think.
No,
But I
no.
understand what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
tried going. So I was going to take one external hard drive with some Kali stuff on it to DEF CON, and I was only going to take my laptop, my work laptop, and it's a Mac, and it's El Capitan, the latest and greatest, nice little machine. But I could not get it in any shape or form to read any of my external drives, which are ext4 at all. Now, if that's a deal breaker for me, granted, my Windows machine wouldn't do it either, my Windows work machine, but I'm not going to be sticking my external hard drive into that machine.
I
And
understand.
it's one of those things that it's the little things that drive me nuts. If I want to install a new cool tool that I found, it may or may not work on a Mac. I can't just go run apt-get or
Well,
apt-install.
you can run
Homebrew,
MacPorts.
yes.
I don't like
MacPorts.
Homebrew.
See,
Homebrew,
I don't like
I'm not a fan.
MacPorts.
I'm a MacPorts fan personally.
It dorked. I had to redo my 2005 Mac because of the stupid Mac ports. Homebrew wasn't around at the time, and I can't remember. It wasn't Mac ports. It was something else. But it made it kind of okay. But it drives me nuts to this day. Like I said, I could have only had two machines taken to DEF CON. No,
Mhm.
I had to pull my normal Linux laptop, freaking 10 pounds and all, and I'm
Right.
just like, that's ridiculous. If it comes down to be honest with you, if it came down to it, if I was going to be given one machine and one machine only, I would have Linux on it no matter what. just plain and simple. Now, which version of Linux? Which distro? I don't know. Probably a Debian based, or I don't know.
Well, Ubuntu's gotten all Mackie and their user interface, and do you used to have those CDs of Kali? Do you have one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a netbook. I want to put the newest version of Kali on. I think that will help a lot. The netbook's just so small. It's hard to type on, etc. But it's better than
Now,
nothing.
see, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a fairly decent, 11 to 13-inch laptop that has a decent hard drive, or I could put a decent hard drive in, and has at least one or two USB ports on it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got that now. It's a tank. I've dropped it and actually broken the case, but it didn't do anything to the computer. The computer works great. Just let me reiterate here. Apparently, there's an update. This is coming from the Jester. Communications Director Sean Spicer says there has been no known breach of RNC networks.
Do you believe him?
Well, we hear this a lot, and then we're like, "Ooh, wait a minute, maybe we are breached." I'm sure they'll hire somebody like a Mandiant or Clown Strike or somebody. I mean, I'm sorry, CrowdStrike to come in and take a look at it.
It's funny. Sorry, yeah, I went on my Linux diatribe there, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who to believe anymore on all the. Hey, so and so's got hacked. Hey, someone.
We're all hacked probably, and just don't know it. Well, Benny, thanks for coming on tonight. I'm going to wrap this up so I can edit it and actually put it out in a podcast. Do you like this? Okay, we're using using YouTube Live now to record the shows, and I think we're getting better audio, able to bounce the audio out and everything. So I like it a lot better. It's less work. So, but thanks, Benny, a lot. I'm going to end the show, but you can hang on. So thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.